So we got a tip from the FBI saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions had made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir.
I don't know anything about him saying any shit like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to you.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job, I'd feel pretty bad about this.
Newly released body cam video shows a Georgia investigator confronting both Colt and Colin Gray, the teen accused of killing 4 people at a high school, and his father. The footage gives us an inside look at the investigation that spawned from an FBI tip more than a year before the teen allegedly opened fire. We are taking a closer look at that video right now as both of the people being questioned now sit behind bars. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. We have been bringing you the biggest updates from the school shooting in Winder, Georgia, and now we have got some bombshell footage for you. We have gotten our hands on body camera footage showing Jackson County investigators questioning Colt Gray, the accused shooter, and his father Colin, who's also been criminally charged, about a threat posted on the video game social media platform Discord. This was back in May of 2023, which again is really problematic for the father, who's accused of supplying his son with a gun, seemingly knowing that he had issues. But here's what happened last year. So the FBI had gotten a tip that someone was posting photos of guns and saying that they were ready to shoot up a school. The FBI's Atlanta field office notified Jackson County, where the then 13-year-old Colt Gray was living with his father Colin. Now, not long after this, the father and son would move to nearby Barrow County, and Colt would be enrolled in Appalachian High School as a freshman. As a transfer student, Colt started school on September 3rd, this is according to authorities, but told the school's guidance counselor he was experiencing a lot of anxiety and went home. The next day, September 4th, law enforcement says he somehow brought an AR-15 style rifle into the school of 2,000 students. Gray, charged with 4 counts of felony murder for allegedly killing 2 students, Mason Schemerhorn and Christian Angulo, both 14, and 2 teachers, Ricky Aspinwall and Christina Ermy. He was arrested within minutes of the shooting after school resource officers confronted him and he surrendered. He's also, by the way, expected to face more charges in the coming days for the 9 people who were also injured in the attack. His father, 54-year-old Colin Gray, was arrested the next day, facing charges of murder and manslaughter, as well as 8 counts of cruelty to children. Officials say he recklessly allowed his teen son access to weapons. The grand jury is going to review their cases and decide whether to return indictments. But going back to what we're talking about here, let's go back in time just a little bit. July 2022, Colin and Colt, they were living with Colt's mom, Marcy Gray, and Colt's 2 younger siblings at a home in Jefferson, Georgia, which is in Jackson County. A writ of eviction was filed and Colin and Marcy separated. Colin, Colt, they moved into a home in a different Jefferson subdivision, while Marcy apparently took the 2 younger children and moved back to her parents' home in Fitzgerald, Georgia. And because of that move, Colt switched to a new school system for 7th grade. So a tip comes in to the FBI about these Discord threats, and the IP address was connected to the home that the family was evicted from. According to text messages between several members of the sheriff's office, an investigator stated, quote, suspect no longer lives at that location, found that they moved to new location, responded to this location with JPD, meaning Jefferson Police, and made contact with Colin Gray. So by this time, Colt had just finished up his 7th grade year. He was going to be entering 8th grade in the fall. All that in mind, now let's get into the body cam footage. Sunday, May 21st, deputies come knocking. Colin Gray answered the door in his underwear.
So we got a tip from the FBI saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions had made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir. And your name was associated with that address. So we went over to that address and you weren't living there, so
Yeah, we live here. Let me get dressed.
Sure.
Hey, by the way, I've said this before, but thank you so much for coming to us for our coverage of this shooting. We really, really appreciate it. Your trust in us. It's not something we take lightly. And honestly, We're able to continue to do this because of the support that not only we get from you guys, but also from our sponsors. And if I can, I just want to highlight one in particular right now, Morgan & Morgan. Look, if you're injured, this firm with over 1,000 attorneys may be who you want in your corner because they are America's largest injury law firm. And for a reason, they win a lot. You also get a dedicated army that includes a legal team, case investigators, paralegals, customer case specialists. There's no upfront fee. You only pay them if you win. And the whole process can be done straight from your smartphone. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC Sidebar. Now, once Colin was back outside with the officers, he gave them some background on his family situation.
So what, tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living
Yeah,
here?
Colt Gray.
Colt?
Yeah, Colt. He's my oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Does he play a lot of video games and stuff?
Yeah, he does. Play all the time.
Is he here right now?
Yeah.
But you think it's something he might have?
I damn sure want to know.
Can we talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely. Now look, he gonna get all red face when you talk to him. Just calm, all right? So him and his. Let me give you a backstory. So we lived over Traditions. I went to work one day. I'm sole provider, build high rises downtown. So I get a call from one of y'all, so my family's in law enforcement. So when I get the call, I'm trying to think of the officer's name. Turns out, nicest guy ever. He's like, I just want to let you know I'm at your house. I'm like, for what? He said, y'all have been evicted. I'm like, no, I just paid rent. He's like, nope. He's like, I'm gonna stay here till you get here. So I drove all the way home. All my in the front yard. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'll just let you know this is what's going on. There's people standing there with trailers and I'm like, what are they doing? He's like, well, they're gonna get your stuff after 24 hours. Is that right? Like, I don't even know why y'all are here. So, long story short, I'm like, trying to figure out what's going on with my wife. She's in the house. So we split. Long story short, for obvious reasons. She took my younger two and went back home, lived with her mom. Colt and I rented a house and came here. So we've been good, no problems. He struggled at first with the separation. All school was kind of so-so. So I've been up at school countless times just tracking with him, hey, make sure you're good. They understand what's going on.
He go to Jefferson School?
He goes to Jefferson Middle School, yes sir. So he's been doing really good.
And from there, the officers bring the conversation back to the issue at hand.
Let me ask you this, do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Did it? Okay.
So I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. If that is what was said.
So
I mean, I swear to God, we've been up to school. I've been up to school, I'm on first name. But I just was up there 3 days ago for his finals, talking to the principal, look, make sure Colt's good. He gets flustered and under pressure. He doesn't really think straight. Can we just kind of put your arms around him, get him through 7th grade. I just want to make sure he's good. We're up there all the time talking to school. Okay. If you talk to that school, they'll know exactly who I am. I'll say that. Okay. I mean, because I'm up there that much,
Checking in on him.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure he's good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little taken back by the whole thing, but I can tell you this, I take that very serious, and so does he.
So Colin Gray says that he's spoken with his son about school shootings and reveals that he's been bullied in school.
I mean, all I can do is ask him.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I want you to talk to him and just tell him. I don't know. I don't know anything about him saying any shit like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors. like on my phone.
And get him away from those video games.
Exactly right. That's the God honest truth. And the picture on my phone is him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer. It was just the greatest day ever. So he knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of
no need.
It's kind of a little bit of a shock. So in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
No.
Like, it's no joke.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
scary. Hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
Yeah.
You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him. So, yeah, y'all.
All right, well, if you want to grab them,
y'all talk.
Or we can go in. It's
all cool. Hang on.
By the way, that bullying aspect, again, for prosecuting Colin Gray, could be very important. You knew your son was having trouble. You knew he was bullied. What did you do? So, Gray gets Colt from inside. And we then get our first look at this young suspect.
These are good dudes. Just
hey, Colt, what's going on, bud? So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
He said something about
shooting up a school.
Did you say something about school shooting?
Never. I just told him, I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else. I would never say I would threaten them to shoot somebody.
You never ever said.
No, I swear.
Do you use Discord?
Discord?
Yes, sir.
I used to. I don't have it anymore.
When's the last time you used it?
Like a few months ago.
Really?
Was it at Traditions, or was it here?
No, it was at Traditions because in that Discord account that I had deleted it
before you moved here.
Yeah, because I think it got it had been password pulled or something. Like I clicked on a link and somebody.
Have you heard anybody on Discord when you were using it say something like that? Remember?
Like at that time?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think I ever had anybody that.
Never. And I mean, I'm not trying to get anybody hemmed up, but like this is some serious stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he knows how serious it is. Trust me.
Cause I'd hate to. You know, my boss was even like, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, nah, I'd rather do it now because.
So would we.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job, I'd feel pretty bad about that. So I just want to make sure you understand that if something like that happens or you hear something like that, report it.
Yeah,
tell your dad, tell teacher.
Like I told him, I would promise I would never say something.
So you haven't used Discord in a few months,
no,
and you're saying you didn't say anything like that.
No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch videos.
Okay. All right, well, fair enough.
What's your birthday?
He's just gonna do a little report saying that
we talked.
We've done in reference to this, and that we talked, and you saying that you didn't say anything like that. And I gotta take you at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's
a serious thing. Really.
It's not unusual for people to lie to police.
Okay. He's familiar with that too. Look, you all are welcome any time. We take it like dead serious around here, and I just want to make sure that I'd even feel better if you do find out what or where. Like, can somebody let us know? Cause
sure.
He's gonna be full of anxiety until this gets resolved. I can tell you that right now.
So Colin then appears to walk to the investigator's car to get his business card, while the other deputy stays with Colt, and he tries to engage the teenager and ask him about his previous school.
Are you getting bullied over there at West Jackson Middle?
That's the thing. I wasn't back there.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't getting
now
bullied.
look, be honest with him about now in middle school. I told him you were now, and that's
you getting switched out halfway through the school year, being the new guy.
Yeah, I'm being that quiet. We moved like 6 times already. So.
Well, my dad was a logger and grew up in the military. We moved a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, in the past schools, surprisingly, I had friends. Like I didn't even necessarily have a reason that I would say that or anything.
No. No. Well, there's always somebody you can talk to if you need to.
Yeah, sure.
School resource counselors.
Yeah, and I do talk to them. Yeah, I talk to the counselor quite often.
Okay.
Just, let her update her on, you know, just how I'm watching and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, start looking out, making goals for yourself.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You interested in anything?
I want to be a philosopher when I grow up.
A what?
A philosopher.
A philosopher.
Yeah. It's kind of a out there thing, but that's
Yeah. Well, I mean, do what you enjoy.
Colin Gray once again reminds the officers that Colt had to deal with the trauma of an eviction, but promises that he and his son will have a talk about the cops showing up.
He knows how serious it is, and he'll, like I said, we'll have a long conversation here in just a little bit, and if something, you know, it's a pretty traumatic thing that him and I both went through now. He was at school, I was at work, come home, and I mean, every ounce of what we had was under tarps and sitting in that yard. You saw it.
Yeah.
You saw the clientele, the neighbors that lived there. It was like fully embarrassing. So it was very traumatic for both of us. And living here, just us, is like, dust is finally settled. He's making good grades. So
That's good. We'll keep that up.
and
That's important.
we'll start talking about traditions in West Jackson and just see if something jogs his memory like that. But certainly we'd like to know if you do find.
Well, my thing is this. So more than likely they track the IP address.
Okay.
And that's why we went to that address.
Okay.
Because the IP addresses are usually location specific.
Yep.
You know, within an area. So if it came from that house, then either somebody there is lying, or the information's just so old.
Yep.
And you know, maybe it was something he heard or did on Discord months ago. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
So, but he's telling me he didn't.
Yep.
Telling me he can't remember anything like that. And
Yep.
I take you at your word. Okay. If you look me in the eye and you tell me that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take you at your word right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But like I was telling your dad, if we find out otherwise, then it's a different story. Okay.
It's a really different story. Okay.
Got any questions?
No, sir.
You have any
Good guy.
questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll go the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, sir.
Y'all be safe.
Good luck to you.
Now, as the investigators leave, they discuss what to do with the information they've just gotten.
Made contact with these people. They had no idea. The husband said that he hasn't been on Discord since fantasy football. And,
Yeah.
and then Colin made contact with him, and then brought his son, got his date of birth, brought him out, spoke to him. Apparently he was getting bullied. Very soft-spoken, reserved kid.
Yeah. Pretty much unable to substantiate anything at this point.
No.
So, you know, until we get more information from
I
this
got-
so-called tip from the FBI, then I don't know where
Got
to go
Dad's
with it.
phone number, so we'll just do an agency assist report for the FBI and write it up and I'll be done.
Sounds like a plan to me. I appreciate you helping me out, man.
Yeah, no worries.
In the text message thread, the deputy writes, quote, he said he deleted his Discord account before they moved from Traditions to Jefferson several months ago. The tip was from the Traditions location, so it was obviously an old tip. Now, to be clear, this case, this investigation, was eventually closed. They didn't have enough evidence to corroborate that there were legitimate threats. There was no probable cause of a crime. And one other thing I should mention, there is no red flag law in Georgia by which the court could be petitioned to remove guns from a house if someone is a danger to themselves or others. So in other words, there didn't appear to be much more that law enforcement could do. Now, going back to Colin for a minute, multiple family members have spoken to media outlets or on social media about Colin Gray and his parenting style, alleging he was abusive or verbally abusive. His former father-in-law even went so far as to call him evil. But the main issue here, given this visit by police, that you could argue, and I'm sure prosecutors will argue, is that this should have put Colin on alert to ensure his son didn't have access to weapons. That is what led to these criminal charges. That is why we say this case is eerily similar to the Oxford school shooting. Jennifer and James Crumbley, a big theme in that case was foreseeability, that they could have foreseen their son would have done this. And remember, they were convicted of involuntary manslaughter in those cases. Now, in this case, for Colin Gray, if he is convicted on all counts, he faces potentially 180 years in prison. As for his son, because he's a minor, he's not going to face the death penalty, but he could be sentenced to life in prison with or without the possibility of parole if he's found guilty. Their next scheduled court appearances are in December, but of course that is subject to change. All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.